My name is Logan Stratton, and today we'll be talking about capturing pygmy hippos. For some background, pygmy hippos are an understudied species that are limited to dense forested areas in West Africa. They are difficult to capture because of lack of understanding of the species, the limited access to their habitat, and the danger it poses to both humans and the species. So in the literature review that I conducted, I could not find an effective method of capture, with most studies limited to passive techniques such as using scat or footprints to study these hippos. So I will be reviewing 3 potential methods of capture: the pitfall trap, box trap, and neck snares. So method 1 is the pitfall trap, and the most basic form is a trap that is dug into the ground to receive an animal that walks over it and then will fall into the trap. These are typically used for smaller animals like different herpetofauna or shrews, but they can be modified by digging appropriate size holes for the target species. So they do not require bait, and once set up, these traps can be easily used for an extended trapping period because it's easily reset each time. And they've also been documented to catch similar mammals, such as tapirs, as you can see here, was a pitfall trap dug and specifically to catch tapirs, and even Sumatran rhinos have been caught using this trap. Intensive time and labor are associated with digging and checking the trap. It does have potential for high levels of bycatch, as well as injury and mortality. Method 2 are the box traps, and this consists of a box made of either wood or metal, and it can vary greatly in size, and it typically uses bait to attract an animal. This is often used on smaller animals, but can be modified in size for the target species. Now this catches usually one animal at a time, so avoids possible fights or bycatch related mortality. Potentially, it's more selective due to reliance on bait. It's less stressful than many other traps, such as leg holds and other similar traps that are not concealed. Now, building one of the size that we need. It would be expensive and requires greater labor, efforts, and skill. And bringing one to where pygmy hippos are found would be difficult because of traversing the habitat. And it does not fit perfectly with the pygmy hippo's life history traits because they don't typically go into these concealed areas unless it's a den they created underneath a riverbank. Method 3 are neck snares. So this method utilizes the loop to snare the animal around its neck, as you can see in this photo of the tapir, and it is then restrained similarly to a leash and collar like you would use for a dog. And there's a stop attached to the loop that prevents the animal from choking, but still keeps it securely trapped. Now this has been used to successfully capture a variety of African ungulates such as zebras and blue wildebeest, and they can be modified with sedatives to reduce stress as well. They are very easy to set up and bring to remote places, unlike the other 2 traps that we have discussed. But the potential for mortality and serious to minor injury is much greater, and it leaves the animal vulnerable to predators as it is not a concealed trap. The neck snare also has low selectivity, which means it has a potential for greater rates of bycatch. Now this trap also has to be checked more frequently than concealed traps because it leaves the animal out in the open and vulnerable. So my recommendation are pitfall traps. This is because box traps just do not fit with the pygmy's life history well enough to justify the time and effort to take one and design it for that size into the field. Neck snares, I think, could be a really good choice in areas that it's unfeasible to create a pitfall trap or have easy access to go to. They have to be checked frequently and have the highest risk of injury and mortality. So that's why I think pitfall traps would be the best choice, and they've been used on several ungulate species of similar sizes, and I have even found record of them being used successfully in graduate dissertations of using them to capture pygmy hippos. But I want to emphasize that this was not peer-reviewed literature, but there is record of this being done successfully in those papers. I just want to use this slide to acknowledge all the different papers that I used to conduct this review. Invite anyone who's watching to comment any questions or comments that I can respond to. Thank you so much for watching.